Okay, now let's have some fun. This is called a phishing attack, stealing by pretense. Website, uh, well, okay, let's not talk a website by pretense. Let's talk about a person. Um, I dress up uh, to look like your uncle that you've never seen, knock on your door, tell you I'm your uncle, and I'm visiting, and you don't really know what I look like or anything, and blah, 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 blah. The next thing I have $500 of your money. But in this context, this is a website pretending to be something it's not. So rather than show you a bunch of diagrams as to how this works, I decided I would actually create a phishing attack, and the goal is to convince you that I could foist this phishing attack on a whole bunch of people and get a whole bunch of passwords to their Capital One bank account. So I got the idea to do this the other day when I got a piece of mail. So authentic means that I'm showing you something that's real, and fake means it's something I made up as a pretense. So this is an actual email that I got, and it told me my credit card's going to expire and that I should check and make sure that they have my address correctly. And if I click on change your address, I go to the legitimate Capital One account, which is good. There's a whole lot of other links in here to do things like open an account, change my password, talk to somebody, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's a big marketing email. I cut it off here. It's got a lot of links, and they all go to the legitimate Capital One website. But what I did, which is very easy, you don't need to be a computer scientist to do this, you just need to know a little bit about computers, is since it's an email that came to me, I have complete control over all of that data, and I captured it all as HTML, which is how websites are coded, and I reworked it a little bit, and I copied it into a mail message. Now this is fake. I changed where that button goes. It doesn't go to Capital One, it goes to my own website. I'll show you that soon. And you see, this is a mail message. It's being sent to me. I certainly don't want to actually do this for real, just to make up something for the class. So I sent it to myself, but I could just as easily send it to a whole bunch of people whose email addresses I actually have. I would hide this part, but that's pretty easy to do also. So I sent this to me, and then I got the mail. It looks, this is the real one as it showed up in my mailbox, and this is the fake one. And although they're not identical, this button's a little bit, different shape. Really, you think you could tell which one's real? You can't. But if you click change your address here, you go to a special website I set up in my own website, not Capital One, but you don't necessarily know that. You would know that if you were real observant, but how many people are really that observant when you're just clicking on stuff? So what I want to do is have a fake page. I'm saying, hey, your password is expired, you have to reset it. That's not actually why you're there. You're there to update your address, but it's not too unusual for websites to tell you password expired, you need to set a new one. This is a fake website. This is not the Capital One website. This is my own website that I personally composed that's on my own server, but it mimics an actual Capital One login screen. This is completely correct. And you see again, fake, authentic, fake, who the heck would know? So you type in your old password and set your new passwords. Pretty common, everybody's done this. Click the submit button and you go to the real Capital One website and you log in. When you log in with your new password, you can discover that doesn't work. So you say, oh, well, I guess there's a delay, or I guess it didn't take, or whatever. Maybe I should try my old password. You try your old password and it works. You say, well, okay, I don't know what that was about, but meanwhile, I can update my address, my credit card. From this point on, everything is good. You're on the real Capital One website, and you're going to conduct your business, whatever you want to do. It's all totally legitimate. Not a single thing is going to go wrong. However, before I sent you to this real, genuine, authentic Capital One website, you had momentarily, without even being aware of it, going to my website where I have a little server program running that has copied your password. So this just shows two here. I'm going to accumulate, as the days go on, lots and lots and lots of passwords. So you say, so what? They have logins and passwords, big deal. Hey, these are logins and passwords for Capital One. Every single one of these leads to a bank account. So you may be scratching your head and saying, you don't need to be a super duper Russian hacker to do this. Anybody could do this. It can't be this easy. Well, actually it is. But this actually would not happen to me because I don't type passwords into places. I use Password Manager, and in fact, as soon as I got there, I used my Password Manager to enter my username and old password. My Password Manager keeps a record of all my passwords and all my websites. I don't type them. I ask the Password Manager to do it, and the Password Manager does something very strange. It's not giving me a choice of passwords for Capital One. See, that's strange. I'm at Capital One. It's not giving me passwords for Capital One. It's giving me passwords for BasePath, which is my site. Or more likely, it says, I don't know the password. So when it says, I don't know the password, you don't type in the password. You stop and you say, this Password Manager is pretty darn perfect. It doesn't know the password. Something is wrong here. And then you might figure out that you just are almost, not quite, victimized by a phishing attack. So that's phishing. It's really, really common. It occurs thousands, tens of thousands, even millions of times a day. And it's probably the number one way that people are tricked into doing things. Not necessarily giving up their passwords, but something worse, which is ransomware, which we will get to in the next video.